You are now listening to Obtain, Achieve, Thrive, Hustle with Metro. Come take the oath.
What's goody, what's goody? It's your boy Metro North, aka Robert Drowney Jr., aka Mr. Megalodon L. Megalodon, back with episode 5 of Obtain, Achieve, Thrive, and Hustle, other known as Oath. We're gonna keep going, we here. You feel me? But I want to say, I want to start off by saying I have a little bit of an update on the Lyft and Social Sunday situation with Humble. Me and Humble had spoke about a week ago, and he was telling me that King DeReese and Two and a few other individuals want to come together and create some more content to where we can give you guys a different perspective on how we doing things, because with Social Sundays it was kind of like wild. It was all over the place. We was talking about relationships, we was talking about a little bit about politics and religion and comedy and freaky shit, relationships. We were just talking about a bunch of shit, and it was good. It was good content. So if you tapped in with that, we definitely appreciate it, because I appreciate any and every supporter. If whether you just watched the clip, whether you watched the full episode, you liked, you commented, you subscribed to the YouTubes, any ounce of support that you give this way is definitely appreciated. You feel me? But yeah, that's really the update. Hopefully we can have a meeting at some point in the future and get everybody's ideas together. And I produce a lot of the shit that we do over there at Lyft. So hopefully we can get this shit really cracking and keep going and keep being consistent, because man, listen, we need some help over that motherfucker for real when it comes to consistency. Everybody got their own shit going on in their personal life, but it's nothing like having a day dedicated to just going to kick it with my guys, and we have conversations and we build and we give our opinions and our points of view of things. That shit is very therapeutic to me. But scrolling through TikTok, like I think this was like 3 days ago, and I keep seeing everybody making these videos on TikTok and X and Instagram about the word demure, or whatever the fuck, demure, right? So the word demure, the meaning of the word demure is like reserved, modest, shy, kind of not out there and shit. So I keep seeing, and it's mainly like dudes saying like, "Yo, these women using this word. If I hear another woman using this word, this shit is crazy." So that word and the saying like, "I'm very demure," it was made popular by this person on TikTok by the name of Jules LeBron, right? I believe this is trans woman, right? So I seen the original video, and I guess she was speaking on how she appears at work and how she pulls up to the job, and she don't do certain things. She dresses this way, and she dropped the word demure, and then I guess that shit just took off. Like I feel like she gained like overnight success with that shit. She ended up getting like endorsements by Southwest Airlines, Netflix, fucking Verizon. So she got a little bag coming in right now. So it's trending on social media like crazy. Funny thing is, I seen like a few ladies that I know like say that shit on like social media on their stories and shit. I'm like, I don't know if you know what that means, but you're not that. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the women, especially in my age range, they're not that. Like for real, especially in CT. We number one in like OnlyFans, I believe. Well, we were number one at one point, and that ain't niggas for real. But she getting a little bag off this shit, and it's trending, and it's somewhat successful. It is successful in a way. So then with everybody using it, and then it's trending, so that's making, that's running up her bag. Then I hear about this random person that goes by the name of Jefferson Bates. I don't know who this dude is, but he swoops in, and he trademarks the saying that she basically created, like she made poppin'. And I don't know if he trademarked it on some like strategizing to make some type of financial gain from her. Like basically like, yo, I own this shit. I trademarked it. So if you want to keep using it, you could buy it back from me. To me, that's like that's a crazy way of trying to come up. For real. That's like a crazy cheat code. That shit is bugged out. Like hopefully she gets it situated because I'm pretty sure she didn't even think in the very beginning that this shit will blow up the way it did, yet alone be like, well, I need to trademark this and I need a legal team to really handle my BI because who, you know what I mean, who thinks of that? Like, when motherfuckers say certain shit, like you got sayings and inside jokes amongst your friends, you would never think, oh, let me go trademark this because somebody might try to, you know what I mean, finesse and beat me to the punch, and then when I go to use it on my social media, now they talking about, oh, such and such, this random ass person owns the trademark, and then he hit me with the, yo, you could buy this shit for 150,000. Like that's a crazy come up. But hopefully she get that shit situated because the way social media is now is it's like one person does something and then that spawns 1,000 more people to do what that person did, but they do it in their own way. Like I seen these two TikTokers, two funny dudes from New York, and they be doing like the top five, you know, like funny shit. And they was in like a recent beef last week because I guess somebody compared like, oh, he did a top five uh traits of a bum ass dude or some shit like that, and then some other guy did it, and then they kind of they kind of clashed on TikTok, and they was going back and forth a little bit, but I feel like when somebody starts a trend, right? If you're gonna follow that trend, you should find a way to do it in your own way. You dig? It's just like with podcasting. Like when podcasting came out, like late 2000s and shit, nobody was doing it. And then Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz and fucking Bodega Boys, they all started doing it, but they all had their you know niche that they had. Like they had something different, so it wasn't like, well, he's talking about the same shit this dude's talking about, so why would I need to go to him? Everyone was watching all of them. Then they started having guests on, and then even if they had the same guest, like they'll have Patrice O'Neal on this show on Opie and Anthony, but then he'll go on somebody else's show, but it'll be completely different conversations, completely different content. That's how I feel you need to go about it. Like them two TikTok guys, I feel like, yeah, what they're doing is similar, and they may have had videos where they spoke about the same thing or had the same top five things, but it's not the same. They're two different comedic guys. Like I think one of them is actually a comedian, and then the other dude's just like he's a regular person that's just eating off of TikTok. Both from New York, you know what I mean? I don't want to see, two niggas like that, especially in the same city, beefing over some TikTok shit. TikTok shit should never really be taken serious unless you get in a crazy bag and somebody's completely ripping you off. Like just completely copying and pasting onto their shit what you're doing. But yeah, hopefully Jules LeBron get that shit situated because this dude Jefferson Bates, he coming. He trying to get a bag or something for real. That shit had me like, damn, that's crazy. Like you can't even really get what I mean? You really can't even get a bag without somebody trying to put their hand in it that ain't got nothing to do with what you got going on and be like, well, you know what I'm saying? I need some too. Let me get some of that. That shit is crazy. It's like people don't really hustle anymore out the mud. Everybody want to just jump on something that's already, popping or trending and then try to get a bag off of that. No one's like original. That's a good way to put it. No one's being original. No one's saying, let me just put some shit that I create on my own, maybe a little inspiration from others. No one just comes out and goes, this is like everyone wants to be like, yo, he doing this, well, I'm gonna do that shit too. But you gotta have your own little swagger on it, you feel me? And all of that, like all of the shit that was going on with the lady Jules LeBron, that shit made me think about like intellectual property and getting trademarks for like ideas and invention design for whatever you create in your head or on paper. Get those trademarks and those copyrights before it's too late. Like for example, I'm in prison. This like 2014, 15, and the Migos is popping and shit. And I'm watching TMZ, and I'm looking at like how the jewelry and everything is changing. Everybody went from wearing tennis chains all the time, and now everybody's wearing plain Jane Cubans and bust down Cubans and kilos, and Jesus pieces kind of went out of style for a while. So while I was in there, I used to draw a lot, like hankies, birthday cards, greeting cards, anything, Mother's Day cards, whatever. I was just creating everything I can in there to make some type of money because I was hustling in there. So I remember having a conversation with my boy Aunt, right? And I was like, yo, you know what would be ill for a chain? And he like, what? I'm like, yo, remember that game niggas used to play back in the day, Crash Bandicoot? He like, yeah, 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 yeah. He talking about the nigga that eat all the mangoes. So I'm like, yeah, him. I'm like, remember when you used to jump on a box and then this crazy African type mask will hop out of the box and he'll follow you around. And I think if you get a few of them, you end up putting the mask on and then you just become like some super thug. You invincible. You running through the level. You collecting shit. Everything. Not even the TNT or the nitro bombs could kill you. Like, I'm like, yo, that mask will be dope on a chain. But at this time, like 2014, 15, I was like, it's kind of still on the 2012 trend and shit, like little Jesus pieces, because Z Shock was coming out with small micro pieces. I'm like, yo, I said, I want to get like three of those made, right? One rose gold, one yellow gold, and one white gold, and then have like the brown diamonds in it, the colorful multicolor canary, all types of fly shit, right? So fast forward 2015, 16, 2017, YC, right? I'm sitting, I forget where I was at. I think I was probably in Osborne, CI. YC Quavo with the same chain that I literally was just telling niggas about on the block. I even told my brother this. I'm like, bro, I thought of this shit like 2 or 3 years ago. And here Quavo is wearing the chain on the red carpet somewhere. I forget where he was at. The only thing I didn't think of was what kind of chain it would be on. I believe he had it on like a Cuban, but every few inches on the Cuban was the question mark boxes that you jump on. And that was an ill touch to the chain. But that made me think of like all these ideas I used to have. And I was in no position to go get trademarks and copyrights while I was in prison. I didn't have anybody on the outside that would handle that business for me. But I'm like, damn, I wish I was able to trademark that shit. Because these ideas that I had back then, I'm like, yo, these shits is reality now. And I ain't got nothing to do with it. I forget who made the chain for Quavo. I don't want to say Johnny Dang. I'm gonna have to do a fact check on who made that chain for Quavo. But I'm like, damn, like, I really wish I would have been able to have somebody that I could just call on Securus and be like, listen, yo, go down to the office and trademark this idea. I even drew it out. I don't know what a drawing of that today. It probably got packed up one of the times I went to the RHU or something. But, you know what I mean? Like, man, listen, I'm tight because I know that chain is worth a couple 100,000, and how they designed it was exactly how I envisioned it, just not as big. His shit was probably like pause 10 inches, like in height, like 5 inches in width, pause, and shit was just immaculate. And I'm like, damn, yo, I thought about this shit. There was a few ideas that I had that people started doing. I remember in like 2012, and I don't know if I was the first person to think of it, but I'm like, I cut hair, and I'm fairly good at it without a license, without any professional training. And I used to think like 2012, 2013, like, damn, it would be dope if you buy a Sprinter van and you equip that shit. I mean, you refurbish it and put a mobile barbershop in the back, right? You put a mobile barbershop in the back. You just pull up to the clubs. You pull up like on a Friday night. Homie probably spent too much time getting ready and trying to find a fit. He ain't had time to go to the barbershop. The barbershop was too packed. I'm like, bro, what if you just get a Sprinter van? You pull up to the front. It's fully tinted. Inside is a mobile barbershop, right? everything, all the fixings. You can get tapers, fades, whatever you want in there. I think the only thing that I didn't want in there was like, shampooing and retwist and shit like that. Unless the event or there was an event that called for that. So I remember like seeing that back in the day, and then like around 2016, I started seeing people with mobile barbershops. And then when I came home, I went to this spot in New Haven one time, and I'm driving down the street, and I see these dudes converted like a Breaking Bad Winnebago. They converted a Winnebago into a barbershop, but they had it stationary. They had that shit parked in like a vacant lot. And I'm like, damn, look, I thought of this shit. Like, so I say all of that to say, like, if you got any great ideas, or ideas that you feel revolutionary or very, very like good, please, if you can't afford, get that shit trademarked, copywritten, make logos for it so it could be official. Excuse me, just in case this situation happens where you come up with an idea, but then somebody beats you to the punch, and then they end up getting their paperwork straight, and now you can't get a bag because you either got to go through them or you just discouraged. You like, I don't even want to fuck with it no more. Like, please get your trademarks and your copyrights, bro. Because at the end of the day, who would have thought, oh, I'm very demure, would have blew up the way it did? It's just like the Hawk Tool chick. Like, who would have thought these little moments on the internet, these 5 second, 10 second clips will become so popular and so trendy that everyone and their mother is gonna want a piece of that. You feel what I'm saying? It's like in the moment you don't think how impactful what you say or what you're doing on the internet is. And it's crazy how the internet really influences, I feel like 95% of people's real life. You feel me? That's why you see everybody looking the same. You see everybody talking about the same shit on the internet. You see everybody trying to live this certain lifestyle because they're seeing that and trying to emulate that into, into their real life. Like I said, life be lifing, but a nigga can make shit look good. You know what I mean? Balling on a budget is a thing. A lot of motherfuckers be in the club all weekend, be scared to check their bank account on Monday. Let me tell you. Because I was one of them niggas back in like 2018. Fresh home, working a little job, making my little bread every week. But then my weekends used to be on some real rowdy rebel shit. And then I'll be like, man, I don't even want to check this motherfucking Bank of America account. Because I don't know. I don't want to see it's just $20 in there, nigga. You feel me? I got to wait another 2 weeks, damn near a week and a half to get paid. But it's like the internet can make or break you, I feel. And for me, I don't really take what I see on the internet and try to apply it in my real life. I take, like I said in the previous episode, I take these things that I see and learn in life and I apply certain aspects of it to my life to make my life comfortable or make my life a little bit better in a way where I can feel good. A lot of people do shit and then when when it's all said and done, they don't feel good. I see a lot of people doing SW. If you don't know what that means, look it up. A lot of women do SW, and then a year, 2 years, 3 years probably down the line, they on they on a story or they on TikTok crying like, I don't want to do this anymore. I over sexualize myself. Like a lot of people do it because it's trending and they see the bag that people are making, but then they turn around and be like, bro, this shit ain't for me. This shit making me feel empty inside. I'm dead. So all in all, get your trademarks. Don't try to emulate everything you see on the internet. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you only get to live this life once. And you want to leave a great impact on your peers, your friends, your family. So they ain't talking shit about you when you gone. You know what I'm saying? But for the people who may not know what IP and intellectual property means, because I mentioned it and just kind of like breeze over it because there's a lot of ignorant motherfuckers. IP, other known as intellectual property, Basically refers to, according to Google, refers to creation of the mind, such as inventions, literally or artistic works, designed and symbols, names and images used in commerce. So basically, logos, podcast, all of like everything we do on the internet is intellectual property. You feel me? Even if you just posting pictures and shit like that, like all of that is intellectual property. So, I mean, educate yourself, learn these things, especially if you want to start a business or you're a business owner. Like you really need to know all of these things. I learned all of this shit before I even came home, before I was released from prison. I had so many books and read so many books that were given to me from other people who I met along my journey in it. So I definitely appreciate them for putting me on. Like my man, old Millie, and I can't find him. I hope he's in good health right now. I just can't find him. I can't find him on anywhere. But he used to be the one through my whole bid that I would actually have these conversations with about the music business and where it was going. I remember me and him had a conversation about, me as an artist. Before I went to prison, I wasn't really taking rap serious. I wasn't really doing it, but I always thought like, yo, this shit could be something. And I always knew it was gonna be something. I just didn't know how to get there and how I was gonna move with this obstacle that was in front of me, prison. But I remember him giving me books on how to run a label, right? How to manage artists, what the percentage is that a manager should get, being a role manager, the qualifications you need. Like he gave me these books and this literature that taught me so much that I had no idea before. And I used to talk like I knew what I was talking about, but I was like fucking 18, 19. The fuck did I know about the music business other than what I used to see on YouTube and watching the Rise and Fall of the Rock documentary and with Dame Dash and shit. Like I didn't really know the in and outs and the nitty gritty that when you sign to a label, the money that they give you. I used to think once they give you that mill, whatever they give you, you could go spend that on a crib. You could that money is literally for you to pay for studio time, videos, your apparel, all of that shit, and then you got to pay that back. I didn't know any of that until like 2014 when I read these books that my man Old Millie was giving me. So I was learning all of this shit while I was locked up. So when I came home, I was able to really like understand shit. That's why I tell a lot of people, especially artists that I be around, like, yo, don't have your uncle or your cousin or somebody acting like your manager. Get somebody with experience that's connected with these club promoters, that's with connected with these DJs and these radio personalities and shit like that. Get somebody like that. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay them some bread. You feel me? Especially if you were up and coming artist and you're not getting booked shows and paid shows or whatever. But you definitely gonna spend that money and get something in return because when you have somebody that's connected, that has the knowledge on how to maneuver and how to break an artist, man, listen, ain't it's really no failing with that. You can't fail. Yeah, you might not get a deal, you might not get signed, but then he'll definitely teach you something though from all the connections he has. And you see the way he's moving. For real, for real. A lot of people need to really educate themselves on all of this shit because the rap business, well, the music industry, and the podcasting shit, and the YouTube and shit, it's all the same. It's all ran the same way. You need a team, and you need a loyal team. Cause I be seeing a lot of people that's successful on YouTube and all of these platforms, and then a few years down the line, there's a disgruntled manager or somebody that was on the team doing a tell-all interview on motherfucking bootleg Kev or some crazy shit or on No Jumper being messy because niggas wasn't loyal in the beginning. You feel what I'm saying? So educate yourself, keep your circle small as a goddamn period. You feel what I'm saying? I wanna switching topics. I wanna revisit my top five CT artists, and I did some of my favorite rising artists that was like nationally coming up, right? So I put out this list, posted it on the gram. Somebody hit me, right? Great friend of mine. He hit me. He's like, "Yo, listen." He like, I'm better than your top five, nigga, hands down. But he's just joking. I mean, he just initiated a conversation. So the conversation goes, ha ha ha. He like, nah, I'm just playing and shit. But then he like lets a few minutes go by. So I'm like, what are you talking about? But then he sends a voice memo. This is all over Instagram. So he starts talking about basically the frustration he has with us coming up as art like rap artists in CT, and how the scene is watered down. There's a lot of fake shit, fuck shit going on. I agree with him. There's a lot of politics, and then the politics just be stupid. It be, they base popularity off of who outside and who's sounding like New Jersey or New York, or you know what I'm saying. And he mentioned all of this shit, and I agree with majority of what he was saying. Then he mentioned, our circle and how everyone's separated, no one's together, and we had a group back in the day. Know what I mean, shout out to the original Moolah Gang crew, but in Leafs, shout out to the Leafs because we was all together at one point. But he mentioned how like niggas rather be over here with these weird niggas than back at the crib where we was originally having the plans of coming together as a basically a conglomerate. But now, popularity and who's got motion and all this dumb shit. And I said, I agree. I said, but I'm not catering to these niggas. When I make my music, I make my music because I want to hear my music, right? If you just so happen to like it, you support it, you fuck with it, you spin it, you run it up. Hey, you stream it, you run it up. Hey, I appreciate you. But what I'm not going to do is go out here and start making fucking drill records and shit like that. And then, I have a few records that are trendy, that sound trendy, that kind of sound like what's going on right now. But I'm not pushing them records. And then for the next 10 months, all I'm pushing out is those type of records. I'll do some, what's the, I forget what the CT shit is, the dumb out sounding track. But then I also come with some fucking bars. You gotta dumb your shit down sometimes, and then you gotta bring it up to them crazy bars where niggas is screwing up their face when they listen to it. And I'm singing and shit too, so it's like I'm doing multiple things. But I agree with what he said. He said, a lot of these rappers out here, there's no vetting process. These motherfuckers that get on a track with you and talk about shooting shit up and selling drugs and doing all this, but there's no history. There's no record of them doing any of this. Not that that's what we are pushing and we're, inspiring for motherfuckers to be on, but at this age in your 30s and on the up and coming and you was on SoundCloud back in the day and all of that shit, you have to have a story. I've always said that. As an artist, you have to have a story. If you don't have a backstory on why you doing this and how you got here, you're not even gonna fucking make it. You feel what I'm saying? It's just you have to have that. A lot of these dudes never got off the porch. What happened is they go to high school, they graduate high school, they try to do the college thing. That shit probably didn't work, or it did work. Now they got a degree, but it's hard to find a job, or it's hard. But then everyone they grew up around is probably in the streets and doing whatever the fuck is going on outside. Then they be like, you know what, I'm gonna be the rapper because a motherfucker got a little bit of money or some shit like that. I see it a lot, and a lot of people. I mean, that doesn't mean I don't fuck with them, but if you on wax like yo, I got the Draco, and you talking about you Pistol Pete and all this dumb shit like, but you don't have the background of that. It's kind of like, I see what you doing. You just trying to make a quick little, bag, or you trying to get some motion and some clout and shit like that. But that's cool. But basically, he's saying like these niggas come around and then motherfuckers gravitate towards them. And I told him straight up, like I said, people gravitate towards these people because they probably look like they got some motion. They connected with certain people. They connected with certain other artists that whoever this artist is, they want to get closer to him. So he got to go through this guy. At the end of the day, Me and him have decided we gonna do some work. With me, I told him, listen, I put a lot of work in when it comes to partnerships. All I ask is for a nigga to be consistent, be honest, give constructive criticism. Don't hold back. We don't need no yes man over here. For some shit that you got a problem with or that you disagree with, let me know so we can make this shit work. Because my boy, he doesn't rap the same like he used to rap back in the day. He changed his whole style up, and I believe I said it on this pod before. I'm never the type of person to be like, yo, that shit whack unless that shit is just triple platinum ass cheeks. I will never say this shit is whack unless it's whack. You feel me? If it sounds different, what I do is I listen to it. I listen to what you're saying. I listen to the melodies. I listen to the flow, the cadence, and I go, how can me and him come together and create something that's fire? That's how I approach artists. I never go, man, this nigga whack, unless that shit is just like, bruh, what are you doing? You feel me? What is you doing? But I just told him like, we could work together. We could get some shit out here, put out a mixtape. Cause I've been telling you. You can ask K Dose, you can ask Lowton, you can ask a few artists. I've been talking about doing a compilation album for Connecticut. You feel me? I said I want artists from Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport, Stanford, Norwalk, because I'm connected with a lot of these artists from each of these cities, these major cities, and even some of the artists that are even in the smaller cities that don't even really get mentioned when it comes to talking about rap in Connecticut. I've been wanting to do a compilation album, but it's like a lot of people got egos. A lot of motherfuckers aren't really about that life, and you know what I'm saying. It's just a lot of shit that come with it. I'm not with all the politics and who's popping and who got the most motion and who about to get signed and how I need to get next to them. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I rap. Me rapping is a hobby, right? It's a fucking hobby until somebody says, "Listen, I'll pay you to give me more of this music." Until then, it's a hobby. You're a content creator. Every video that you put out, every song you put out is content for your portfolio. That's why if you go on my Instagram page, I don't get that many likes. You feel me? I haven't really checked my analytics for my music, but shit, last time I checked, I didn't have that many goddamn streams on my Spotify or my Apple Music for Artists. So it's like I'm doing this shit as a hobby until the right person come along and say, yeah, I fuck with it. And even when they do come around, I'm not expecting to get signed or I'm not expecting to get a fucking crazy bag because I mean, this game is fucked up. I just want to do it because it make me feel good to be able to ride in the whip after being away for so long, listening to a bunch of other niggas. I could ride around in the car and listen to my own music and then really be like, I did it. This is something I wanted to do. This goes back to me talking about the goals, accomplishing the goals under the pressure and circumstances. I don't want to be fucking Jay-Z or Kanye famous, nigga. I want to be able to get the bag, live comfortably, take care of my daughter, and all of that shit. That's it. So, I mean, me and my mans is definitely, I'm not going to disclose on who it is, but me and my mans is definitely gonna link up, get in the studio, shit. Come to the home studio, put out some fire, and really get this shit clicking because it's been long overdue. It's time to really get this shit going, especially in the Bridgeport area. A lot of Bridgeport artists have talent. A lot of them are up at the hub. Shout out Neek. Shout out PK. You feel me? But a lot of people they don't have that motivation that you really need. A lot of niggas make music and the shit starts getting repetitive. And then what I learned from that is it's because motherfuckers don't travel. Motherfuckers don't move. I remember when I went to Atlanta last year, I came back and did like 3 songs off of just spending a week in Atlanta. You dig? Like that one little trip with the gang gave me so much motivation because I seen some shit and I was around some people and that shit helped me really come up with some good songs. A lot of niggas just go in the studio day after day after day. Yeah, you're in the studio every day and you're working, but it's like is your music really evolving? Are you having experiences that you could put down in these songs? Are you living through something that's really painful, or is it exciting? Talk about that. I don't want to hear about how you got the stick and the dick on the gun every song. That shit is crazy. I don't talk like that. I don't rap like that. It's not repetitive. You dig what I'm saying? But anyways, look out for that, man. Me and my man is definitely about to get in the stew. We about to go in. We're gonna try to get some more artists to come in, features, visuals, everything, because it's time for everybody to come together and really stop acting like fucking weirdos. I'm tired of motherfuckers like throwing shade at this dude, having motherfuckers like Slime Richie pinning people against each other and doing weird shit. You know what I'm saying? So look out for that, man. And other creative dudes. Um, my daughter was on vacation this past week, right? We basically it was just me and her the whole vacation. We was chilling, we was doing artwork and all of that. So I see she's watching these two little, I don't know if they Russian, I don't know what they are, Ukrainian, I don't know. But it's these two little kids on YouTube, and they have a show, and it's like kind of like they just do random shit all day. They go to places, they go to resorts. These kids be dapper down too, fucking Fendi on, Ferragamo shit. But anyways, I'm watching my daughter watch this shit, and I see that she's like, imitating a lot of the things that they do. So I'm like, yo, you want your own YouTube show? And I remember hearing Troy Ave say that, he created a show for his kids on YouTube where they on some like superhero shit. So I'm like, you want to create? So she like, yeah. So my daughter's 3 years old, but she's very intellectual. So I'm like, I bet. So I'm asking her questions like, what you want the show to be about. She's talking about makeup and all this other shit. And I'm like, I'm taking mental notes of all of these things. Later on that evening, what I end up doing is I end up making a beat for basically the theme song for her show. So I let her hear it. She's dancing to it. And I'm like, listen, you got to put some words over this. So she like, all right, yeah, okay. But I know she's going to get shy when it comes to recording or whatever. But not only am I going to do this and try to make this something for her that she can actually like enjoy doing, I'm going to show her how to produce it as well, how to edit, how the camera works, how everything. Because now you don't even need a Canon or a Sony camera. You mean you could use your iPhone and shit like that. With these cameras, shit, you paying 1,000, 1,500 for these phones. Shit, I'm gonna show her how to really produce the show. So when she get older, she already has a little bit of knowledge on how film production and just producing shows and content on the internet works. That's a key. That's a vital thing that these kids need to learn because they're gonna grow up with the internet and the way the internet is evolving. They gotta be the ones to navigate that shit. Cause I feel like shit. I'm 31. It's like when it comes to the internet, yeah, I'm self-taught and all of that. But after a while, it's gonna get to the point where like, bro, I can't keep up with some of this shit. It took me 3 years to get on TikTok after I figured what the fuck TikTok was. But I'm gonna show her the ropes and how to produce it and how to be on camera and all of that. So that being said, look out for the new content. Every week we dropping a new episode of O.A.T.H. You feel me? Mixtape coming soon with me and my mans. I'm not gonna give too much information out, you know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be a movie. I'm gonna release it under my label. You feel what I'm saying? I'm gonna incorporate a lot of other things into this one project as well. Merchandise, branding, everything. You feel what I'm saying? Try to work on this show with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, we working out here, bro. What y'all doing? Other than talking shit about somebody else and what they got going on. So my final words for episode 5 of Oath. Somebody texted me the other day, right? So I off the dome, I hit him with some fly shit, right? So this is somebody I do business with as well. So I said, we have to build a fortified foundation to build a unified empire upon, never to be destroyed. I repeat, we got to build a fortified foundation to build a unified empire upon, never to be destroyed. Now, I was fucking talking like a nigga from Game of Thrones for some reason, but this shit just came off the top of my head. And basically, what I meant by that is we gotta really have a strong relationship. We gotta weed out all these fucking leeches and these weird motherfuckers out of this little, group we got. But we got to build that fortified foundation so we could keep building on this business. And the business is the empire. And as far as me saying never to be destroyed, it can't be penetrated by snakes. Can't be penetrated by rats, weird people, outsiders. You dig what I'm saying? We have to build that empire on that foundation and make it strong enough so people can't come in and say, oh, he said this, and have everybody fighting amongst each other. Can't have no fall of an empire, man. You got to learn from Rockefeller. You got to learn from good music. You got to learn from all these people that we seen and we were influenced by growing up and how that shit didn't work for them. G-Unit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people come in and they fuck everything up. But that's my final words for episode 5, you dig? And again, this has been another episode of O.A.T.H, where we're going to obtain, we're going to achieve, we're going to thrive, and we always going to hustle.
You are now listening to Obtain, Achieve, Thrive, Hustle with Metro. Come take the oath.